Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode of the Strand Tennis Center podcast, filled with tips, advice, tennis, not tennis, just life advice too, whatever you need. Like it on YouTube, share it on the podcast as well. Thank you. Welcome to the Strand Tennis Center podcast, everyone. We are in a different location. We are on court, as you can tell. Can they see some action behind me? It's good. We decided to do this because we actually have a. These are small business quick ideas. Office was busy with a Zoom conference call that needed quiet, so we said, "Hey, let's go outside."
I like it outside.
You like the outside, don't you, Santi? So I got to talk right into the mic, or we're gonna get a little ambient sound here.
Yes,
but
sir.
the kids are playing. This is one of our classes, or one of our 3 to 5 groups in the summertime. It ranges from kids that are just trying to make their JV to kids that play high school and varsity and things like that. But we haven't spoken. You were away, right? So we took we put some stuff that was in the can, put it out there, and you were on hiatus. How was Hawaii, by the way?
It was great. Lots of cuties.
Ooh,
Lots of food.
Did
Yeah.
you?
Did I meet anyone?
Did you meet anybody?
No. I wouldn't be here if I met somebody.
Oh boy, Santi
No,
loves
I
his job so much. Well, I guess if I met some sort of Hawaii
Yeah.
girl when I was young, I'd probably Hawaiian or
Yeah.
or
I would stay there.
or island fever. I probably would have stayed.
Yeah.
Do you eventually? I
was
mean,
good,
are
though.
you? Is it that like
It's fun.
incredible?
No,
that
it's
you-
not that incredible. There's a lot of people, a lot of homeless people, a lot of tourists, a lot of Europeans.
Okay.
Nice though. Nice place.
Because my wife went there,
Expensive,
yeah.
yeah.
before I knew her, and she said she never wanted to come back.
She didn't want to come back?
No.
Yeah.
She loved
Depends
it.
on the island, but very nice. Rains every day. Fun. Good
Fun?
surf.
Would you say
Good-
fun?
Fun, yeah. Good surf.
Expensive though, right? Because they
Expensive,
gotta, fly everything in, right?
Yep. A little expensive, but not too bad. It's not that much.
90% of their food is flown in, right? What is?
Yeah.
You think about coffee and macadamia nuts and stuff? Like what else?
Well, they grow that there.
That's
the
what I'm saying. What else
yeah.
besides that
They have
is
a lot
in-
of local fruits.
Oh,
Everything's
fruits
not
and
too
vegetables.
expensive. It's just like meat's expensive, like steak, etc. But a lot of people, like the locals, they fish. They get their own stuff. They get free food. Their neighbors, if they're friends, they like share everything.
We were watching this Giada thing. It's so funny watching Giada.
Yeah.
She's
Pretty.
She was born.
Pretty chef. Yeah.
Well, that's another thing. I find her a little.
She's Italian, right?
Like she's not like she's a little. A little. I don't know. I don't find her aesthetically attractive for some
that's
reason.
not
I don't
your
know.
type?
She's not my type. But
Okay.
kids coming into class late, I should be like yelling at kids. You are late. Show up. Be on time. On time is late. It's 3:30 right now. Kids are half an hour late. But you got to
3:30.
say it's summertime, so there's something always going on, an activity. They're in the middle of something. They're at a pool party. No, but she was doing a show where she's traveling around, right? She was in
Right.
Italy or something, and it's amazing. Or she grew up. She was from Italy,
Okay.
and she would spend her summers or grew up in like Bora Bora or something crazy. So they were like,
Oh, must be
amazing.
nice.
They're just out
Yeah.
there swimming, fishing, grabbing the fish, cooking the fish, and it's incredibly fresh. Everything, like you're just like, if you live like this, you feel like you live forever because everything's so
poke?
fresh.
You know what poke is, right?
Yeah.
It's like the fish. Yeah, so over there, the best poke you just get at the supermarket. You don't go to and it doesn't have all the other random stuff. You can't add corn or edamame or you can't add all these random things. It's just straight fish with little soy sauce, little
Why
whatever.
can't you add corn?
I mean, you can, but it's like mainland is they just put a lot of crap in it.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, and then over there it's just you just taste the fish and the
Like a
rice
little salt,
and whatever.
pepper, lemon or something?
Yeah, exactly.
It's usually the best fish is just salt, pepper, lemon to me.
Yeah, you want to taste the fish. You don't want to sauce it up too much, Yeah.
Especially with the fish is that fresh, you want to taste it.
Yep. Exactly.
So I guess what I wanted to talk about was pressure. Kind of the topic is pressure today.
Pressure.
And being this is kind of our class where they're trying to, it's interesting that we're out here, our class where they're trying to make their high school team all the girls' season starts for us up north here. In Florida, it's actually both. Boys and girls play at the same time.
What do they do in the spring then?
Other sports, I don't know what they do.
Maybe it's
but
too hot.
it's probably too hot, which is true.
But I found it interesting that there's that many courts available because tennis is huge in Florida.
For
both of them to play, and they travel together on the bus together.
It's kind of fun.
So they do. It must be fun. So they both play. They have enough courts, and I think it's 5-3. Like the girl that was up here training.
Yeah.
There's 5 singles and 3 doubles. I think it's even
Oh,
more.
wow.
But they play both. It's like
they
college.
have to play both. Yeah.
So they don't like have all 8 on together.
Okay.
But they have enough courts allocated to be able to fit everybody, which is great because tennis is huge down there.
Maybe they do it at like facilities where they have certain matches.
I would assume they do. They have 20-court facilities and big spaces. So I was going to discuss pressure. And I was going to discuss pressure as basically the top of the podcast is pressure is a privilege. And people try to avoid pressure. They try to avoid stress. And there's different types of stress. There's eustress and there's stress. Eustress is a good thing to have. Eustress is something that you're kind of excited about. You're interested in the challenge. There's some negative stresses where you're just in a negative situation or something, like say
like work anxiety, stress, that type of thing.
Your boss is constantly on your ass and it's not a good thing, or anything that is just negative for negative's sake, and it's not a situation where I consider stress a privilege because it means there's opportunity happening.
Okay.
So the only reason why I embrace stress, it's because nothing ever happens unless you're in a situation where you're a little stressed out. I see it as an opportunity. So if I'm stressed over something, I'm like, well, there's an opportunity here.
Okay.
And I need to understand that I need to go through some stressful situations to reap the rewards of that opportunity.
But as a business owner, what type of stresses do you have versus like people who have stresses of, their work-life balance or job stress or deadlines? Besides the good stresses.
Besides what would be the good stresses?
Good stress is like in terms of tennis, it'd be like, all right, I'm gonna play this match.
Okay.
I want to do really well.
It's exciting.
I'm a little nervous, but this person's a little higher, a little lower than me. It's a good stress. You can fight through it and become a better player at the end.
That's what's a positive stress.
Yeah.
A good stress would be, we're, for another thing in regards to business, we're going to try this idea. It may not work, but if it works, it could be very, very good for the business or the club, right? Yeah. So that's a good stress because it's an opportunity. You can stress, about a boss. You can stress about everything. You can stress every day. You could realize and get yourself in a situation where you could go, wow, this thing, If I fuck up, like we talked about, if I fuck up 3 times, oh my God, we may not be able to pay people next month. You know what I mean? Like you can stress out about payroll and stress out about bills every single day and go, wow, there's a lot of stuff here, and I could screw it up. So you could stress. I mean, people just don't like that. They don't like that feeling of saying, well, it's all on me, and we always go back to this.
When something breaks, like, for example, sometimes the AC is not cold enough, do you stress about, like, all right, we got to call somebody to come in fix these things?
Yeah, you do, but you luckily, over the years, you've become point to the contact, to call, what to do. In the beginning, sure, or the flooding part was the worst.
I was about to say, that was crazy.
Because you can't do anything about it, right? We've made a lot of contingencies. I mean, so these buildings, it's tough. No matter where you are, if you get enough rain, like we had that crazy storm that was everyone flooded. It didn't matter. So we've done all these contingencies, catch basins, and this and that and those things. So at one point, if you get that much rain, I mean, when I was driving home, it was like third world country in some spots.
You had to go around stuff.
Yeah, it was. I was out to dinner that night with the storm. The storm was last summer. I can't remember.
It was like in September.
It was like at the end of the summer,
late August. Yeah.
And I couldn't even get home. Remember, I was stuck in a parking lot for an hour because I had to get to high ground, and I could not get to my house. Because my house is on high ground, but I had to get through low ground to get up.
Yeah. You're
just stuck. And that feeling is just water. You get in 3 feet of water, it doesn't matter. It can push you all over the place. 2 feet of water kill you, So So that's not a good stress, as I would say. That's just one of those things that it's just part of the beast.
Okay.
But pressure is a privilege in the sense of if you're applying for something, you're trying to get a job, you're trying to do something, and you feel pressure, that's a privilege. Because I'd rather be, I was thinking about this, I'd rather feel pressure than be depressed. Depressed is totally different than pressure. To me, and I only speak from my personal experience, depression only happens, for me, when I'm actually not doing anything. I'm not feeling pressure.
Okay.
I don't see anything happening. There's no opportunity, there's no action, there's nothing going on, and it starts to depress me because there's no opportunity.
I feel like there's no growth.
What?
There's no growth.
There's no growth.
There's no like growth stress, growth pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell you, that's my hardest part. I told you we talked about, having you guys run the business and things like that. My hardest part is not going into a cycle of like, holy shit, what do I do? Right? You can get, and that's why people's instincts take over and they go, all right, I'm just going to go back to work and do these things because they need to do something. So pressure is so much better than depression. Because, oh my God, depression is, and again, it's not even that there's an opportunity. Pressure's an opportunity of like, oh, if I fuck it up, but you have a stake in something, you have an opportunity. Depression to me is just like, there's nothing worth living for, there's nothing going on. I'm being a little extreme, but there's nothing in your timeline that you're excited to do.
You're not looking forward to anything.
Not looking forward to anything. To me, that's where depression sits. So you're just like, oh, what do I do? The happiest points, to me, from my experience, were the most difficult ones. Are the most difficult points. Are we all right with my mic, Santi?
Yeah, you're good.
They're the most difficult points. When we started this business with 1-2 courts and I had to work hours and hours and hours, you won't believe how I came home so excited. But physically dead, but so excited because you're actually building something and you're like, holy shit, this is something I'm building from zero. So, it was so much more stressful and so much more effort, but in some ways, you're like, oh, maybe I can tear this building down and start all over. You're like that. So you're just like, because that is the point where you feel the most alive. Now, that's just me. Now, maybe some people don't like that. Some people like, everybody's different. But that's how I go, oh, my God, I want, this is, I'd love to be like living in my one room like I was before. You go back to that. I lived in like one room, rented at a house, and lived in one room and just worked all fucking day and did, you know what I mean? I mean, that was a long time ago. When I was doing that, me and Maria were together at that point. But I'm talking about a while ago, a long time ago. You just go back to saying, all I need is this fork, a plate, a sandwich, and that's it, right? It's very simple. It simplifies life. And the more you can simplify life, the better, because it gets very complicated. So don't avoid pressure, though. Don't avoid pressure. Don't walk away from it because it'll lead to depression. To me, that's how I see it. You want to walk into pressure and go into it. Or whatever it may be, pressure, stress. Pressure are the same thing. And again, it's eustress, where it's something you're excited about. Like I had a lot of eustress when we started this business because it was exciting. Right? Still a lot of pressure, like, oh, hopefully I get enough business to do this, and then I can do that. And hopefully I have enough money. I have no money, but but you're very excited about it. So I wouldn't avoid pressure. I would embrace pressure because it leads to development. It's like pressure. It's like working out, right? Pressure on your muscles lead to development. Like sculpting, pressure on the piece of stone creates a piece of art, right?
Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah, there you go. Pressure makes diamonds. Absolutely right. So it's a privilege, and you should embrace it. You should step back and appreciate the pressure that you have, because that means you have an opportunity there. And that's how I was just thinking about that over the last couple weeks.
So in terms of tennis, how would you equate pressure? Or like how can you give kids better tips to handle the pressure of, facing a difficult opponent, or facing someone they haven't, a tournament they've never tried, or you know what I mean, trying to make the team, that's different pressure and stresses, you know. How would you give them advice for that type of stuff?
Well, for the micro, you have to try to stay in the moment and do situations that help you handle that pressure, right? So you still want pressure, but inside the moment, if you freak out, you're not going to have the aptitude, or it's not going to allow you to perform at your best. So you do rituals, right? You make sure you do the same thing before the first serve and the second serve, whether you bounce the ball 4 times or 5 times. You say hit, bounce, hit. You breathe in between the points. You take 4, do a 4-7-8 breathing technique. You breathe in for 4, hold for 7, release for 8. All those things are interrupters of the pressure. Really, a breathing technique is just an interruption. So you're taking an interruption point to be able to calm down and slow down. So those are all micro things. We tell the player to watch the seams on the ball and try to read the number on the ball. It takes the result out of it, and you're just focusing on the ball. So those kind of things inside the point you can do. Macro-wise, help to deal with pressure. Just, again, tell them the only way to develop is to be uncomfortable and feel these pressure situations. If you find yourself nervous to do something, you should probably do it. That's what I tell the player. Because you're not really going to get anywhere if you don't take on those challenges. Nothing really happens if you don't challenge yourself. So the player has to do that. That's micro and macro. Listen, you think about pressure and you go, oh, I just want to relax. And I was thinking about this too. It'd be so great. I'm working so hard to be able to relax for 2 weeks, do nothing. It just doesn't work that way in my brain. It doesn't work that way. Maybe it'll last 2 days, like I said. 2 days of, doing really nothing. I told you the only time I did nothing is when I feel ill. That's it. So if I feel sick, I do nothing. So I'm like, well, I should probably slow down like this. But I always have an edge to me. Like, if I feel good, there's always just a razor edge to me. And that's just the way it's got to be. Because you can't, it's like aging. Like, you can't, you have to stay ahead of it. And you have to stay, you can't allow things to happen to you. Remember, they happen for you. It's the way you have to look at it. Things are happening for you, not to you.
Okay.
So if I'm feeling like I can't, that's happening for me if all these things are happening. So, something you think bad happens, you always realize it happens for you and not to you, and then you can utilize it.
Okay.
That's the big way to look at it.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it.
Because people think in the negative tense of oh, this is happening to me. How do I react to it? Oh, I'm stressed out, or I'm feeling too much pressure.
I mean,
that's gotta, rise above it. Essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. As a small business, you can, everything. You can think of everything as a negative if you want to. You know how much shit goes on in a small business, stuff that in any business. But if you look at it happens for you, or you say, "What's good about this?"
Yeah.
What's good about this person going, you know what? I'm not really into this. I don't want to work anymore. And they tell you in the last minute, what's good about this? Good. They did it. Good. They're out of here. It's better than them hanging on for 8 months and ruining the place.
Makes
so
sense.
You have to, it's just how you look at it. And if you look at it that way, things get good. Kids are working hard.
Yeah. Not hard enough, though.
Not hard, never hard enough. You always, and that's my issue because I was at a match, and they won the match, and I'm always thinking about ways to improve. And some people just want compliments, and they just want to feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
And I am always teaching in the sense of what we need to do to get better.
Right.
I don't really kind of go, it's really nice. You played a great match. Good job. I don't think there's any growth in that. That's just me. But you also have to realize the situation you're in, right? People not everybody's trying to be a, even a college player. They just want to know they played a good match and feel good about themselves, which is true. Yeah. And I have to learn that too. It's all learning, the teaching. You have to learn that some people, everybody's different. Some people need a compliment, and it's big for them.
Yeah.
Especially after they have a good result.
Yeah.
Positive
reinforcement.
Positive reinforcement. Thank you, Santi. Thank you. How's How's the week back since you got back, work-wise? It's been pretty
I've been
light.
taking some random naps and just staying up late for no reason. Not really. I mean, adjusting is fine, but yeah, it's fine.
So you've adjusted to the time by now.
Yeah, the time's better. You know, it wasn't a huge difference, but like at the same time, I'd find myself tired for no reason, and then take a nap, and then I'm up till like 4 a.m. And I'm like, oh shit. But you know, the nice thing is that you guys let me come in around noon, so I'm like, all right, I can still sleep until 11 or whatever. And
what a schedule Santi's got.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah, it is a joke.
It's a joke. I mean, come on, man. This guy's got to work a lot harder. Yeah, positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
You stink. No. That was it. I just wanted to talk about pressure a little bit. You know, it's August. We're in the middle of the summer, right? So it's easy as a kid to kind of like chill out right now and do nothing. And then usually what happens for us is, especially with the girls, is we get a billion phone calls August 12th or 11th because no one has practiced all year. And then they put this stress on themselves, which is warranted because they're not prepared. And that's a bad type of stress, when you just feel like you're not ready.
And there's only 7 spots.
Yeah, I know.
It's hard.
So what you should do is not put stress on yourself there. Realize I haven't played, so I'm just going to wing this. Like, you can't be like, oh, I'm going to take 3 lessons over the next 3 days, and that'll be it.
That's not the
Just say, oh, I'll hit some balls, and hopefully it'll go all right.
Yeah.
The undue stress that's unnecessary there because you're not prepared. There's no reason to.
We used to play twice a day, like my friends and
In high school?
Yeah, like in the summertime, wake up, play in the morning, gets too hot, then come back and play at like 4 or 5 o'clock.
Good.
Yeah, just to play, just to get it in.
But it's fun, too.
Yeah, it's fun.
Ruthie's saying hello. Come on, Ruthie. Come on. Come. Is she leaving? Ruthie's leaving. 1 minute, Ruthie. She's got to wait. We have a big meeting with Ruthie.
Okay.
She kicked us out of the office. Now she's like, hello, I'd like to talk.
Okay.
Never any time. But no, that's all I wanted to discuss, as you can see. The answers and the actions.
Yep.
Keep working, keep moving, keep hitting. And try to get prepared. Like if you're going to get ready in August for your season, you really want to do well, you have to be prepared.
Yeah.
And accept that when you're not. Don't expect things when you don't prepare. That's a pretty simple thing. Thank you, Santi.
Thank you.
Everybody have a good day.
Hey, everybody. Hope you like the podcast. Please share it with your friends, anybody that you know, anybody that's into tennis, anybody that's into bettering themselves. Share it.